Hey and welcome back to my channel. Finally the sun is out again and there is no grey sky anymore. My name is Max and I will convert this Iveco VM90 to our new overlanding vehicle. Therefore we will retire our 40-year-old trusty G-Wagon. My wife Danya and I converted it and already drove 60,000 kilometers with it. Obviously our dog Pongo helped a lot as well. So you might be wondering why a 4x4 to travel to the most beautiful places in the world and not get stuck in my own garden. So for now, it will live up here until next year, when it will be checked for technical inspection. This is the Iveco VM90. It's based on the Iveco 4010 4x4 version. The engine, drivetrain and frame are adapted from it. It comes with all the bells and whistles you want in an off-roader. Low gears, lockers, massive tires. In here it's fairly simple, but I love that. I love that about the old cars. No unnecessary stuff. It's a mess in here at the moment. It was previously used by the Italian army and it's kind of a headache for me because we have so much loose wiring because it was an ambulance before and there is so much stuff that we don't need anymore and the electricity is really not my thing. So at the moment I'm figuring out what can go, what needs to stay so that at the end of the day the car is still working properly. And for example, here you have all those holes and all of that was buttons for functions that we don't need anymore. And look at this entry. I feel like a trucker climbing up and down this entry. And did I mention those tires? They are massive. I'm 185 and they go all the way to my hips. They are huge. Initially, we wanted to use the box, but it was in really bad shape and super rusty, especially parts of the floor and also the roof. So straight away, we decided to leave it in Italy. I was so surprised when I first inspected the car. Like, there is so much plastic or glass fiber, like the doors, the whole car is like I would say like a tab kind of construction. And that tab is metal, and on top of that you have plastic. So you have the B-pillar and the roof, the back of the cabin, everything is plastic. And did I mention the bonnet? How cool is that? It's like a race car. But the fiberglass comes with its own challenges as well. The bonnet is metal reinforced, so you have those metal rods in there and they rusted through. Here you can see it as well. And they cracked the fiberglass. I think I will cut out all of those reinforcing metal rods and then laminate new ones back in there. I think it shouldn't be an issue. I think in yard buildings and whatever, they use it all the time and it's stable and no issue, but I've never done it before. Another issue due to the fiberglass structure of this car is we don't have seat belts in here and the B-pillar, it's plastic as well, or fiberglass. So we can't attach a normal seat belt in there, or I don't know how to reinforce it. And we need new seats anyways, because I think those are not comfortable for long-term traveling for thousands of kilometers. But the new ones we need to buy need to have an integrated seat belt, so we don't need to attach it in the wall. But the fiberglass structure has a lot of advantages as well. The car has almost no rust at all, because fiberglass won't rust, right? Even though it's 30 years old. And probably it was never driven in snowy, salty winter conditions either, because the rest of the car looks fantastic as well. So far, I've spotted one single spot that needs welding, a common spot on the VM90s. It's below the windshield. Come with me, I'll show you something. After living in the G for almost 1 year, we recognized that we needed more living space. Its small size is pure freedom when traveling, at least for the driving part, but when living out of the car, especially with the dog and 2 adults, it's just so little space. So it's super cozy in here and we love it, but it's sometimes we wish for a little bit more space. So the driving part with this small car is perfect for traveling. It definitely depends on the regions where you want to travel to, but at least for Europe, in my opinion, the smaller the car, the better. But obviously, it doesn't matter if you want to go to the middle of Sahara. With that size comes the issue of always being quite exposed. So it's the elements, like when it's windy, you have the tent that makes a sound, or you need to close the roof, or it's loud noises when you are in the city and have a lot of people around, or dogs especially. I remember one night in Georgia, it was at the Black Sea. It was a super nice spot, close to the water in a little forest. And it was quite hot and humid. And there were a few stray dogs and they were super nice. Like usually all of those dogs are lovely. And they did a great job in protecting our car at night. Pongo slept really well, like he was properly protected. And I didn't sleep at all. So in that instance, we closed the roof. We probably had around 30 degrees in here. It was wet in here, or like humid air. 2 adults and Pongo. The width in here is around 150. And lovely dogs protecting our car. And I think the advantage of the Iveco with a closed cabin is to be a little bit more protected from the elements. So what do you think? Does size matter? So with this build, we want to try to build the bridge between a car that is not too small for living out of it, but also being flexible enough for driving everywhere. So the car needs to be small enough for driving, but big enough for living. I think there are not too many options in this category of cars, the Iveco being one of them. Most 4x4s share one disadvantage, and that disadvantage is the big bonnet. So if you have G-Wagons or Troupies or Defenders, all of them have the really long bonnet. And the advantage of the Iveco is that it has a really small bonnet. So the length of the bonnet that you lose is also the length that you gain with the living space. As it is, the Iveco is only 30 centimeters longer than the G-Wagon with the same wheelbase, but we gain around 1 meter in the length of the cabin here in the back. So that means the G-Wagon we have around 1.70 meter in the back, and here it's 270, and I think we will end up with around 3.10 meter, we will see. But that means we basically have the same size of car, but have way more space in the back. Another advantage is that the Iveco is around 2 meters wide, also the cabin in the front. So it's possible that we will have a transverse bed, so that we sleep from side to side. So we will open a lot of space. So not all of the box in the back, in the lengthwise, is occupied by a bed. So that's also a big advantage. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I wish you happy holidays and I hope to see you here again next time.